What's up, YouTube? Fred and Scott, we're talking wild card playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do the damn thing.
It's game time.
What's going on, YouTubers?
What's up?
Fred and Scott here for round 2 of our playoff predictions.
Man, round 2.
Round 2 for us. Unfortunately, we tried to do a collab video with some fellow YouTubers, IngravenVids, Joe Noobo, SZG Sports. Tell them where they can find those guys at.
At IngravenVids, you guys know him on YouTube. You can check him out all over YouTube, all over Twitter. Joe Noobo, check out his channel. Just search Joe Noobo. You'll find it. And you can check him out on Twitter at NF Podcasts. And then our buddy Sonny over at SZG Sports. Yeah, SZG Sports, it's everywhere. He actually just opened up an Instagram as well, but all you got to do is search SZG Sports. That's it.
Yeah, man.
You'll find him.
It was a lot of fun doing that video with those guys. Unfortunately, we had some audio troubles on our end. I will take the L on that one for sure. Did not come out as expected. So here we are, nonetheless, last minute trying to throw something together for you guys so at least Scott and I can get our picks out. We know that they do their picks videos on their own, so go make sure you go check out their channels. You'll find their picks there.
Don't hesitate to go check out those channels either. You know, make sure you check them out, especially before all these games go on. Listen to what they've got to say. They're going to be making very similar points to what we are. We were making those points in our collab video, and a lot of people brought up some good points. I'm going to bring up some points that we heard from some of them and give those guys a little bit of a shout out because they brought up some good points during that video. Like we said, unfortunately, we couldn't get that audio to work just right. So we don't want to have bad audio quality out there for our listeners.
Quality comes first.
Absolutely.
But let's not waste any time here, man. Let's dive right into this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover all of this week's wild card playoff games. We're going to start with the earliest Saturday game and go to the latest Sunday game. So the first game on the deck, the Colts, the red-hot Colts going into Houston to take on the Houston Texans. Scott, I'll let you start off on this, man. How do you see this game going?
Listen, for me on this one, we talked about this, and it is a defensive game for the Texans. The offensive line, not very strong for the Texans, so they rely on their defense to stop other offenses. But here's the problem. They're going against the Colts offense and Andrew Luck. But here's what I'm going to say. Look for Merciless for the defensive Texans to have a big game here because this O-line of the Colts is really going to be focused on Clowney and Watt, and that's going to leave Merciless to be able to come up the middle without a problem, and I think you're going to see it on a regular basis. So I have to go Texans here, and if I'm going to give you a score, it's going to be a one-score game, but it is going to be Texans 24-17.
All right, man. So for me in this game, this is tough. This is a game that I was high on both of these teams really coming into this year. Now, I think Indy has kind of outplayed my expectations.
Actually, many expectations.
Yeah, Andrew Luck, there were so many question marks kind of going into the year about his arm strength and how he would do. And he came in this year in the best shape of his entire career. He has put all those naysayers to bed. He's had, if some of these other quarterbacks aren't having the years out there that they're having, he's in the MVP conversation. So this is a tough one for me. Indianapolis, what makes Andrew Luck great is not only his individual talent, but he's got a really, really good offensive line. And that's saying something considering where this team was just a short period ago, 2 years ago. I mean, one of the worst offensive lines in the game.
Yeah.
Houston, on the other hand, they're talented all across the board. The big names that we've already mentioned on the defensive side of the ball. Deshaun Watson, obviously coming back from the major knee injury. He got off to a slow start, but things kind of started coming together towards the middle of the year, towards the end of the year. They went on a long run after starting the year 0-3.
Yeah, nobody expected the way that started at all.
This division really didn't shake out to what most people thought. The Jaguars obviously didn't live up to their expectations.
I had them winning this division.
I think we both did. So this one's going to be a tough game. And in a lot of tough games, I like to give the home team usually the edge. But I got something in me that says ride with the Colts. The Colts are the red-hot team right now. I think Andrew Luck being the seasoned veteran, I'm going to give him the nod. And I think the X factor in this game, and I've said it the past couple of weeks when I talk about the Colts, Frank Reich. I think Frank Reich has made the difference in Indy.
Are you a closet Colts fan?
No, I
You're just a Frank Reich fan.
I'm a Frank Reich. He gets hurt. I just think that Frank Reich's made a big difference there in Indy, and I think they are hot. They're a dangerous team coming into the playoffs. So that's where I'm going with. I'm riding with the Colts.
I can't deny it. They are hot right now, and I just my thing is I don't think Andrew Luck and this offensive line are going to be able to hold up to the pounding that they're going to get from that defensive line for the Texans.
And that very well could be. Saturday's late game. Another good game.
Whew.
Seahawks Cowboys.
Everybody I know here is going Seahawks. I'll see what you got to say on this.
I think the collab video said we were pretty evenly split between everybody on this one.
Is this that
this is the one we were pretty evenly split on.
Well, I've got it going. The boys, the Cowboys, because to the point of pretty much everybody in the video brought it up. You trust Russell Wilson over Dak Prescott, period, as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. So you're proving my point.
But as a quarterback with Amari Cooper as a deep threat and Ezekiel Elliott and the run game, I have to go Dak Prescott. Since Amari Cooper came onto the scene in Dallas, Dak Prescott and this offense has been non-stop. Amari Cooper can get over the top of the defenses, and he can take over the middle routes as well, and Dak is hitting him. And it's opening up some of these other receivers to get wide open shots. And then you also have that's opening up the running game for Ezekiel Elliott, who is having a second half like we expected to have in the first half before all the issues.
Right.
But he is having a spectacular season after Amari Cooper because there was no true threat. Let's be real. There was no true threat for the Cowboys. I know plenty of Cowboys fans out there. I love you. But you didn't have a threat. If you think you had a threat, you didn't have a threat. Amari Cooper is your threat.
So I agree with you. I think Amari Cooper kind of was the missing puzzle piece for this team. Obviously, he became the glue that kind of held the team together. You took a struggling Dak Prescott, who I had pretty much thrown the towel in on, didn't think he was going to be much more than a flash-in-the-pan rookie. I mean, he had a great rookie season. But they really never replaced the loss of Dez Bryant, and they did that with Amari. And when you see the improvement of how much having that number one receiver is to Dak Prescott, that also has an effect on the running game. You know, now teams can't just load the box and stop Ezekiel Elliott. They got to respect the passing game, and that does open lanes for Dallas, especially Ezekiel Elliott. That's why I think this will be a close game. But I'm going to go ahead and give the edge to the Seahawks, and here's why. To your point, the very first point you made, I trust Russell Wilson hands over heels before I trust Dak Prescott. I also trust Pete Carroll over Garrett. Hands over feet.
Even after the playoffs?
Yeah, I do.
I don't. And that's exactly why I would 100% disagree with you. You had the chance to win the game, and you didn't. And you look.
But at least they're getting there.
They haven't come back from it.
At least they're getting there. They've won a Super Bowl. They've been there before. I trust Pete Carroll. I trust the experience, not just Pete Carroll's experience, but this team's experience. They are getting more healthy now. They get Doug Baldwin back, who's been banged up pretty much all year. Tyler Lockett's playing on another level. They've got a we talk about Ezekiel Elliott. They've got a really good stable of young backs there by committee. Yeah, that can really keep the backfield fresh throughout a game. You're not relying on one back to carry the load for an entire football game. You've got three backs that you can kind of plug in there at any given time.
Right.
And I just think that works better in the Seahawks' favor. So I'm going Seahawks here.
If you give a score, what score are you giving in this game?
If I have to give a score in this game, like I said, I think it's close. But I think the Seahawks wear down on the Cowboys late in this game. I'm going Seahawks 28, Cowboys 23.
All right, I had a 24-20 Cowboys, so we both have it as somewhat of a close game, less than a one-score game. So it's quite possible. It's going to be a close game no matter what. And then there's the game that we all care about the most. I know I do.
At least I hope you guys do out there.
And that is Sunday at 1:05, the Chargers come into Baltimore.
Ravens flock
to face the Ravens. It's going to be a 105 game on CBS. Fred, you are going to be there.
Yeah.
I know Ingraven said he is going to be there. SZG said he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Joe, unfortunately, not able to make it out in sunny California kid. And I, unfortunately, could not get tickets, and I'm not paying an arm and leg. It just sucks. But I will be there with you in spirit. We'll see maybe if I can get down there for maybe for like the tailgate or something. But that's going to be the game that everybody's going to be watching here in Baltimore. I've got this being a close game. And I said this game will come down to one man. And his name's not Lamar Jackson. His name's Justin Tucker. Because this is going to be a last-minute score by Justin Tucker, in my opinion. It's going to be a 23-20 game. Justin Tucker is going to be a pivotal role in this game to decide the game. But it comes down to the second time we face the Chargers. They have to now game plan for us again, which is easier now, in my opinion, because you're seeing Lamar at game speed for the second time. To that same extent, we are seeing their defense or their offense again, but I think we have to look at it and say we haven't seen a team game for Lamar Jackson twice. And I think you see the Chargers do it. Chargers have a pretty good defense. Joey Bosa, I think he had a good game. He had a bad game against Orlando Brown the last time we met in Week 16. Look for him to either be matched up against somebody else or maybe try some swim moves a little bit more around Orlando Brown. What do you think? What do you got this game?
So I think the whole second time around scenario, I think, is kind of getting blown out of proportion a little bit. Not by you. I'm just saying in general.
What you trying to say, Fred? What you trying to say,
I
man?
feel like a lot of people are making a big ordeal out of nothing. This is the second go-around for both teams. And if you don't think that the Ravens are going to make adjustments on both sides of the football to accommodate what they learned the first time around with the Chargers, you're kidding yourself. And I think this game, albeit the Chargers are a very good football team, they're good on all aspects of the game, defensively, offensively, special teams. They're good on all assets. I think this bodes well for our matchup for a game against the Ravens specifically, because this defense struggles the most when they're going against mobile quarterbacks, the likes of Drew Brees, the likes of
Patrick
Mahomes, yeah, even Baker Mayfield, in the couple games that we've gone against him. Every time we've gone against a mobile quarterback, we've struggled. The games that our defense thrives are typically the quarterbacks that can't get out of the pocket, the quarterbacks that have to get rid of the ball quickly because the pressure is just too much. And I think Matt Judon, Terrell Suggs step up and have a big game in this game. I think the one big concerning factor for me, if you're talking about the Ravens, is Marty Morningwig. I hope that we can just play the style of football that we've been playing. Don't get cute with the ball. Don't get cute with the play calling. Stick to what works. What has gotten you here? Ground, pound, wear the clock down, control time of possession, and limit the amount of mistakes and turnovers. If this team can do that, I'm taking the Ravens in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Marty Morningwig is going to be he's the biggest question mark of anybody in this game, period. And he's off the field. Let's remember this. He's off the field. So I agree with you. I think that is going to be the biggest X factor is how he approaches this game against this Chargers defense for the second time.
All right, so the next game up, the last game, Sunday night.
It's going to be Sunday at 4:40 on NBC. It's going to be the Eagles,
defending Super Bowl champions,
and that Nick Foles magic.
Yeah,
they're going to take
magic.
Were we just in harmony?
That was sweet.
We got to hear that on playback. We'll see what happens. But they're going to go against the Bears, the red hot Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah, the Bears are really hot. Yeah. And it's, you know what it is?
I'm going to start this one off.
All right.
I'm going to start this one off. Now, I've been very, very high on the Bears.
You don't want me to take your points. I know what it is.
That's exactly what it is. No. This game is simple for me. I think as much as there's talk about the Nick Foles magic and the difference that he's made with this football team, all the stars kind of aligning up with a similar run that they had last year to this year. Now, granted, the way that they got into the playoffs is a little bit different. They were in a much better position last year. They kind of got in by the skin of their teeth this year. But nonetheless, Foles led them into the playoffs, and now they have a chance. All records kind of go out the window at this point. But you're talking about one of the most dominant defensive football teams in the NFL right now in the Chicago Bears. And I think defensive football is kind of a lost art in many ways. I think it gets kind of taken for granted because all we want to talk about and all we want to read about is the sexiness of offenses and teams putting up 40 and 50 points a game and whatnot. When you have teams and offenses consistently throughout the NFL doing that, but yet you've got teams like the Bears and the Ravens that are holding teams to under 20 points a game, that's unheard of. Like that's winning football. And I think the Bears are in a very similar situation to us as far as if they can ask Trubisky to manage the game, don't go out there and make mistakes, hang on to the football, don't get cute with the ball. Khalil Mack and this defense, there's not many teams out there that are going to be able to go against and put up points against this defense. I'm taking the Bears in this game.
You know, you hit on it. Magic Foles. Last season, they basically handed Foles the ball and said, don't F it up. Get us to the playoffs. This year, in similar fashion, in a completely different scenario, they have to ask him, can you get us to the playoffs, please? Can you get us there?
Right.
Nick Foles could be the X factor in this game because the way he's been playing, the history that he has, let's remember, Nick Foles has not lost a playoff game as a quarterback.
No, that's very true.
But I'm going Bears here, and here's why. Khalil frickin' Mack.
Yeah.
The guy is having one of the best defensive seasons of all time. You can't say the guy is having a career year. He is having one of the greatest seasons.
I heard somebody earlier today make a point, and I thought that this was pretty funny in regards to Khalil Mack. They said that John Gruden should win the award for GM of the year. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? John Gruden's a head coach. Why would he win the award for GM? Well, let's just see. He put the Bears in the playoffs with giving them Khalil Mack, and he got the Cowboys into the playoffs by giving them Amari Cooper. Kind of twisted way of looking at it, but it's a lot of truth to it.
Sounds pretty good to me. I mean, the way, like I said, the way Khalil Mack is playing, he's playing at another level. I think just when you look at this Bears defense, to your point, they're playing like the Ravens. Now, the Ravens are ranked, and I'm going to get crap for this. I know Sonny over SZG was giving me crap, and he's going to give me crap again, I'm sure. I think the Bears defense is better than the Ravens when you look at it as an overall front. And the reason I say that is while the Bears are doing the same exact thing as the Ravens, why they're number one is the yards per game. They're giving up yet less yards per game. The Bears, however, are giving up less points per game. They're giving up less passing yardage per game. I think the rushing is where they're getting beat.
I think the only thing the point that SCG was trying to make on that was the strength of schedule. When you look at some of the teams that the Ravens went up against versus some of the teams that the Bears went up against, the numbers can be skewed in that sense. But you play who's on your schedule
exactly
at the end of the day. So.
And I know that he brought up the point about some of the quarterbacks and things like that, but.
Right.
They did just a few weeks ago take on Jared Goff and held Jared Goff in that Rams offense. And Todd Gurley, let's not forget Todd Gurley here. Yeah. He held that offense. They held that offense. I say he because Khalil Mack's pretty much the leader there. He led that offense to led that defense to holding that offense to 6 points. Let's not forget that, guys. 6 points to a team that at the beginning of the year, through the first half of the year, was averaging over 30 points a game. Yeah. Let's not forget that. So to come in and do that, I understand that maybe Jared Goff kind of fell off a little bit at the end of the season, but I don't care. You still have Todd Gurley on that team. And you have a lot of other offensive weapons that you were able to hold to 2 field goals That's it. That's impressive.
Yeah.
We didn't do that against Patrick Mahomes. I hate to tell people, there has been very few teams the Ravens have been able to hold to under 15 to 18 points this season.
We did a real good job against the Saints for like 3.5 quarters, and then
it just blew up at the
got
fourth.
out of hand at that point. But you're going Bears on this one.
I'm going Bears. I have to.
Up Bears.
And I think it's going to be a one-score game, but I think it's 28-21 Bears is what I got this as.
All right, man. Well, there you have it. Our NFL wild card picks. Again, a big shout out to Ingraven, Joe Noobo, SZG Sports. We apologize for not being able to get that video up. It was so much fun working with them. As always, we hope to work with them more in the future. Hopefully, we can just have all this OBS and video stuff and Skype calls. And
We're getting it all worked out.
Yeah, we just got a few kinks we need to get through, but we'll get there.
Just to put it out there too, I know that Sonny wanted to get it out there, so I'm going to get it out there for him. He's and his family and friends, or his neighbor actually was just recently diagnosed with a form of pancreatic cancer. Has a young son, young family, and he was informed by some neighbors that there was a GoFundMe page that was set up for this family. So we're going to put that link in the bottom in the comments. So make sure, if you have the ability to reach out and give them a little bit of help. It's always tough. We've all been struck by that type of chord at some point. And so, we've been there. So any help, that I know that the family would greatly appreciate, we'll put that link below.
Yeah,
but I know he was very concerned about that.
It hits me on a personal level. I mean, I lost my father a couple years ago to pancreatic cancer. So, I mean, cancer sucks. So we will have a link down below in the description. $1 goes a long way. So if you guys can do anything, him, his family, all of us here at Birdland BS, we greatly appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. Leave your comments down below. Let us know who you pick. And, hey, if you guys are going to be down there at Ravens Stadium, Lot H, that's where we're going to be tailgating. I think Ingraven's going to come down there and meet up with us. SCG's going to be down there. So if you want to shake some hands, kiss some babies, do some things like that, we'll be down there. For Fred and Scott, Birdland BS, we're out. Peace. See ya.